hate God, they hate children, and goddamn them now.
So many people are so angry, and there is a lot to be angry about. But let's take a step back and think about things. It's silly to think just that because both sides disagree with you that you're in the right. But fuck me, is it tempting. This election cycle is just crazy, this US election cycle. And I've been getting it from both sides because I'm critical of both sides, but the people who are for Trump only seem to see it when I criticise Trump, and the people for Hillary only seem to see me when I criticise Hillary, or the other way around when when I'm defending Trump, because so much of what's being said and done about him is just pointless and stupid when there's real substantive issues to go after him on, and vice versa. And everything is aligned against Trump, so I guess it seems as though I'm defending Trump quite often. I'm not. The man is a fucking imbecile, but go after him for real substantial things. Could we? And it's so starkly a case of it's okay when we do it. It's okay to go after Trump for some sexual talk and not even alleged sexual assault. But it's not okay to go after Hillary for defending Bill through his various sexual peccadillos and misadventures. The hypocrisy is palpable. I mean, I hate to game drop, but there's a Gamergate related event that does actually tie in to all this. Gamergate has been accused of this misogyny and hatred and mistreatment of women and everything, and yet time after time after time, people who lined up against Gamergate have been outed as paedophiles and stalkers and sexual assault and so on. And this came out this time relating to Trump because a film critic who'd been very staunchly anti-Gamergate, Devin Faraci, came out and said something about Trump's groping misadventures, and then got called out by a woman who alleges that he groped her. He's lost his job, he's off social media. Again, the hypocrisy is palpable. It's okay when we do it, and it's not like that's limited to any particular one side. People are often engaging in tactics that they criticise the other side for, and it's just dumb. And we've seen all this play out here in the UK over the Brexit vote, and ongoing, even though the economy is tanking and stands to lose 5 to 10% of its size, even though the pound has rarely been lower. It's below $1.30 now. I can't remember the last time it was that low. And yet people persist, because to them, exit from Europe was this kind of avatar for them to fixate everything that they've hated, everything that they've been told to hate onto. And Trump is similar. Now, whoever wins, whether it's the warhawk corporatist shill Hillary or the buffoon Trump, you're still going to have these issues and divisions in your society to deal with, just as we're having to deal with them here. You can't ignore them. And I see the same mistakes being made, the same establishment lineup against the rebellion. That's not going to work, because they're going to see the establishment and they're just going to want to kick against it more. The media has lost all trust, and you have to understand why that is, because it's partisan, because it's biased, because it's wrong over and over and again, and because the media has become a way to push an agenda rather than to inform. And it's going to be fucking difficult to get that trust back. It's going to require the kind of integrity that media just doesn't pay for anymore. It pays for clicks, it pays for drama, it pays for views, it pays for advertising. And that's not what the news should be about. And even here, the BBC is under severe political pressure, which is rendering what used to be a great impartial institution into something so much less. Whoever wins, and better the devil you know, I guess, you're still going to have to deal with this problem. Trump is still, even at his lowest ebb, polling at least 20%. That's 1 in 5 people in your country who feels disenfranchised, who feels betrayed, who feels ignored. And while the diagnoses of the problems are probably incorrect, the problems still exist. There's people out of work who feel that they're being replaced by immigrants and outsourcing. You're going to have to tackle that. People need something to do. People need some kind of pride, and they feel under siege. And the left has, just like over here, abandoned the working class and the underclass for middle class issues. You know, gender issues, LGBT issues and so on. Now these, don't get me wrong, these are important, but they're not important to the people who now feel disenfranchised, who are facing arguably more severe issues. You know, the degeneration of their neighbourhoods, the breakup of their families. I'm not a traditionalist, but this is important to other people. All these kinds of things, you know, the lack of work, poor education, high rates of arrest even in poor white communities. You know, these are things that cut across the racial boundaries, but everyone's told to hate each other, to hate immigrants, to hate black people, to hate white people, you know, to hate straight people, to hate gay people, whatever. You know, it's the people are divided against themselves, and that's frustrating for anyone who wants to actually make any real change, who can see where the fault lines in society actually are beneath all this surface fluff. These people need hope. They need to be engaged with. They need to be educated, is an arrogant way to put it, but they need to be shown how these problems exist, what the real causes are, what the real problems are. Otherwise, they're just going to be sold a cheap, easy explanation by exploitative people like Trump, like some of Black Lives Matter. You know, they're going to sell people on these divisive, violent, hateful, blame the other ideologies and ideas. Whatever happens in this election, these problems are going to fester, and they need to be addressed. And ideally, they need to be addressed by someone sane and thoughtful, who isn't just out to exploit people, who won't just serve corporate interests. But, you passed on Bernie, I guess, so I guess you're kind of stuck. But some kind of compromise is going to have to be made, because if it isn't, all this bad feeling, this resentment, all these people who've been ignored, not passed by by progress, ignored, they're part of your democracy as well, and that means their issues have to be addressed. And if you think this election, once it's over, all these problems are going to be over, well...
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
If you like what I do here, please like, subscribe. You can find me on social media, on Twitter at Grimachu, James Desborough on Facebook, James Grim Desborough on G+. My main website is postmortemstudios.wordpress.com. If you want to help me out with a little money, which will go to support my games, writing and other projects, you can do so at Patreon, which is also Grimachu.